So I learned this statistic in companies that are building loyal customers, that they've done these studies and gathered these statistics, and for what they learned was for every one bad or negative experience that this customer has, that the whole goal is to create a loyal customer base that returns. Okay, so longevity, the goal between the company and the customer is like a continuity, a continued relationship. Okay, so based off of the goal, these are the statistics gathered. For every one negative experience, it takes 37 positive experiences to erase the negative experience. Okay, and I was like, wow, those are some shocking statistics, right? But like, kind of not really. So, like, if you think about this, if you applied this to your relationships, or to, like, in a romantic relationship, or to your relationships with your children, right? So, like, my whole goal for my kids is that they remember their childhood fondly as a time that was happy for them, and that they loved being a kid and it was so much fun. That's my goal for my children, of how I want them to remember their experience of being a child. Okay, so statistically, for every one negative experience, I need to provide them with 37 positive experiences. Okay, so I am not a perfect human. I do mess up as a parent sometimes. Like, I can be reactive sometimes, and of course, like, I'm always trying to be better, or I do get withdrawn as a human sometimes as well, because I'm like a little bit introverted. So sometimes I really just have to go be by myself, and I have to tell them, like, I need a few minutes alone. Not that that's a negative experience per se, but like, they could interpret it that way, of like, that they need me right now and I'm not here right now, like, I'm sorry. So, but I try to be as present as possible and in a good mood, good fashion as possible. But other ways that a child can have a negative experience is just simply that they wanted a piece of candy and you're like, not till after dinner. Like, negative experiences can happen just completely because, they wanted to go to their friend's house, and we look down the street and it's like, oh, honey, your friend is not home. You can't go down there. This occurred yesterday, actually. And for the past 2 days, my kid's friend was not home that they wanted to go play with. And it was a very big deal last night. And it was like, you never let me do anything I want to do. And I'm like, babe, I want to let you. They're just not there. I'm sorry. But so then it's like, when a negative experience happens, I feel like, the effort should be to consciously create positive experiences. Okay, so for me, with my kids, for my son, the way to create a positive experience with him is he absolutely loves playing Tickle Monster. And so it's not like we have to play Tickle Monster all day for the rest of the day, like, to create 37 positive experiences. But it's like, every time, we can play for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something. And every time I like go in to tickle him, and that's a positive experience right there, because it's like building the anticipation. That's a positive thing. Every time I make contact and tickle him and then he laughs and giggles, that's a positive experience, right? So in those 10 or 15 minutes that he and I are playing Tickle Monster, he's probably had 20 or 30 positive experiences right there. And it can turn the whole thing around. You give them a hug, they're upset, and you give them a hug. The hug is like the first positive experience, right? Then you like pet their hair. That's a positive experience. And you tell them, like, oh, I understand you're upset. Feeling understood is a positive experience. So it's like, the positive experiences can be micro, but they add up. And by the time you've, hugged your kid enough, patted them on the back, pet their hair, saying, it's okay, I'm sorry you're upset, and you talk about it, you've already created a lot of positive experiences. And then you can redirect, like, what would something else be fun to do right now? Then you kind of start going down that trail, and now you're creating more positive experiences there. Okay, so I just wanted us to become aware of that. Same thing for relationships. So for my daughter, the best way to create positive experiences with her is, like, she loves to play Barbies together, right? So, or just, she also loves to be the boss. So she'll be like, if you're like, let's play copycat, and she gets to do stuff and then make you do it, she loves doing that. So whatever, you figure out how the person in front of you feels most loved, and then you engage with them in that way, because everybody's different. And so then, as it relates to romantic relationships, that's how you do it, right? So for people to say we're on thin ice right now, that just means we've had more positive or more negative experiences that are not being balanced out by positive experiences right now. Okay, so if a negative experience comes up in your relationship, like, also as adults, we don't take everything in a negative fashion. Some stuff is just neutral. Oh, I'm running late. Okay, to me, that's not a negative experience. That's just something that happens. Oh, I need to reschedule. I can't do Friday. Can we do Saturday? To me, that's not a negative experience. That's something that just happens, right? Like, no big deal. So as adults, we realize a lot of things, occurrences that come up, are just neutral. It's not because somebody is being inconsiderate or trying to be hurtful. It's just, we understand that life happens, right? But if you are aware of the fact that your partner is feeling hurt for whatever reason, I would encourage you to, not if it wasn't even on purpose, like, I would encourage you to sit with them and talk about it, and, like, know their love languages. And, like, if their love language is touch, like, hold their hand, rub their feet. You touch a person's feet in different places and it feels good, or their back or whatever, that's going to be like 100 positive experiences right there, because, like, you just massaged their foot in 100 ways that felt good. You know what I mean? And it's those micro experiences that add up in the brain, like, oh, that felt good, that felt good. And then that's what adds it up to, like, 37 experiences fast, right? So that's what I would encourage. Like, and obviously everybody's love language is different. So if your partner's love language is acts of service, giving gifts, like, I don't know, quality time, just, like, know how to love your partner in a way that feels good for them. And if they are feeling hurt, that's the negative experience, right? I would recommend to intentionally create a small abundance of positive experiences to make a washed slate, like, clean the slate, and then kind of start fresh. So it's like, all right, we're good again. That's how you make it good again. And that's how statistically you create like, continuity. Okay, so I just thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to share that. All right, so I hope everybody has a great day, and I love you guys so much.